Alright, so in this problem we're looking at the work done by Eratosthenes, who was able to calculate that circumference, and he got it within a couple hundred miles of what we calculate with our advanced equipment now. And this was thousands of years ago in ancient Greece, when some people thought the world was flat. Here's a man who was able to not only understand it was a sphere, but also recognize how to find that circumference with ancient tools. So we know that the circumference is about 25,000 miles, but we want to find the volume. And we know, like I said, it's a sphere approximately. So we know that a sphere is 4/3 pi times the radius cubed. But what we have is the circumference. So we know that the circumference is approximately 25,000 miles. So, but what we need is the radius. So we can say that the circumference, one of the formulas we can say is that's 2 times pi times the radius. So we can say 25,000 miles is equal to 2 pi r. If I divide both sides by the 2 pi, and since I'm trying to get an approximation, I'm just going to round it and say that that's approximately 3,978 and 87 hundredths miles. So now I can find my volume by plugging that in for my radius. So my volume will equal 4/3 pi times 3,978 and 87 hundredths miles cubed. And that's how I know that my volume unit is cubic miles. And if I multiply this all together, I will get approximately, if I do it in my calculator, I'm going to get a scientific notation where it's going to shoot out something approximately like this. And it may say E11, and that means times 10 to the 11th. And 10 to the 11th means that this is approximately 264 billion cubic miles. So that's a lot of space. 264 billion cubic miles. I mean, it's a vast Earth that we have. Now, the second problem, we get into trying to figure out the volume for the Great Pyramid of Giza. Now, it's important to recognize what information do we have and what information do we need. So we know that the volume of a pyramid is 1/3 the area of the base times the height. So we have to recognize what is the base, how do we find its area, and then also how do we find the height of a pyramid. So let's see what we do have. What we have is that the length of a base is 756 feet. We have the slant height, so I'm going to put that fancy curved L, is about 592 feet. But I don't want the L, I want the H value. So I think, well, how can I relate all this information together? So I'm going to bring in another image to help. And so if I think about a pyramid, I've got to think about all the different aspects of the height, the slant height, and the base all related together. So what I recognize, or what I hope to recognize, is, as you can see, I've got the slant height. And if I draw a segment back here with the height, height's perpendicular. So if I look there, what do I have? I have a right triangle where I know that this is H. I know that my slant height is 592. I gotta figure out, well, what's this piece? Well, if I think about it, it's the same as this segment all the way across, but it's cut in half. So if it was 756 feet all the way across, I know, here I'm going to erase this, so I don't get two, erase this. I know that that piece would have to be 378 feet. So if I draw a triangle here to help out, that right triangle to find the height, oh, this is 592, this is 378, and I can use Pythagorean theorem to find my height. So 378 squared plus h squared equals 592 squared. And if I solve this problem, subtract and then take the square root, I will get that the height of the pyramid is approximately 455 feet. Now I also have to figure out, well, what is capital B? And remember that capital B is the area of my base, and my base is a square. So if I go back, I'm going to take this off here, and I think about just my base, and I want to find that area there. I know this is 756 and that's 756. I know that the capital B would equal 756 feet squared. So I'm going to put all those pieces together so that my volume is 1/3, 756 feet squared times the 455 feet, and when I multiply that, I will get approximately 86,682,960, and then that's feet squared times feet. That will give me cubic feet.